In this clip I'd like to look at uncontrollable spins that you end up using the override switching and going into emergency shutdown. When this happens quite often, we're leaning back a little bit and into a spin, and there's a bit of a centrifugal force. And if you can get back, lift the lever, push the button. So we've gone from seat steer back up to joy steer, and the differential between the two have caused the machine to go into an emergency override shutdown. Always check the info key, look for an error. If it's a steering sensor error like we've just created by switching over quickly, it should come up EO14. Now I have no power on. If I was to put the legs up and ride, I could do this. I could ride and have the joystick available to me and get into the environment I want to. But if I switch back over to seat steer again, it will create another spin. So we power up. I'll just demonstrate what not to do. Power on, lift the legs. Using the joystick, you can see I can steer just fine, but I am sitting on an angle. If I sit flat on the seat, you can see the angle there. You'll feel the angle more. Look down if you're unsure, and look at the gap between the side of the seat on one side and the gap on, or the lack of gap on the side of the seat, and that'll tell you if you've got your seat wildly at an angle. If I was to go onto seat steer at this point in time, I would start turning to the side. And it's also gone into shutdown. Okay, so when I flipped it over, it spun me off on a spin and put the machine into emergency shutdown. It didn't like what was happening between the steering sensors. Two steering sensors, one for the joystick, one for the active seat control that runs through the seat. So the method, if you end up having gone into a spin and ended up with the legs down, you must always, before you turn the power on, re-level the seat. And we do this by power off, legs down, flick over to active seat control, swing the seat to level on our crossways axis, rock back and forward, make sure you're comfortable, back onto joystick. Of course, when you're in this situation and you've gone through the emergency shutdown, remember to power up the machine again. If you ended up sitting here and pushing that rear button 3 times to activate the legs would come up, but you would have no power, and then you'd be lying down very quickly. So we power on. It'll go through red lights to green lights, green for go. Find our balance again, figure out why we went into the shutdown. Oh, that's right, it was the seat. It's all good now, we've got it level. Check our environment, legs up. Find our balance, over to seat steer, and ready to go. Work on your systems, practice good habits, and always, please, make sure that before you put the lever over to active seat control when you're on the flat, that your seat is level. Be out there, practice, and enjoy.